Andrea here with me today, and we have a very special guest that we have brought on. And Andrea, I'm going to let you introduce them.
Yeah, I am so excited to introduce Mark Stern. So Mark Stern is the CEO of Custom Box Agency, and the thing that I love the most about Mark. So Susan and I know Mark from the ClickFunnels world. We've been circling around the same world for a long time, and we were just kind of talking like we do not connect enough because we are very much aligned in terms of values and what we prioritize and what we focus on. And Mark is an expert at making customer experiences and journeys, but through physical products as well as digital products, like a combo deal. Do I have that right,
You nailed it. I love
Mark?
it.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so looking forward to talking with you.
Oh, I'm so excited about this, Susan and Andrea. It's so good seeing the two of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know we're
yes.
we're starting this interview later because we were just having so much fun chatting beforehand. We're like, we just need to meet together and chat.
I love it.
It's
I love
awesome.
it.
And I think why it's so cool, Andrea, I'll turn back over to you, but it's so cool
Yeah.
every time we do come together and start talking through these things. Like we're so like-minded, which is exactly why we have Mark on with us right now. In how do we actually serve our customers better so that one, we're serving them better, and they're getting better results, but also it helps us as the business owners to actually have a business that is profitable and thriving. And so that's what I think we're diving into today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. Mark, you said it's actually something really important right when we first kicked off, and that's where I want to start. And it is that there is a need for more and more people to be focused and to set the bar in terms of what we would categorize as delivery systems, in terms of the after the first sale. So everything that happens after the first sale and beyond, and being able to prioritize that more. You have worked with a lot of entrepreneurs who have chosen to invest in that delivery system. I am so curious to learn from you, like, what is that big difference of somebody who decides, yes, delivery is important, they should invest in it, versus those that are like still kind of first sale oriented? What is that, do you think, for you that you've seen?
Gosh, this is a non-negotiable. Like, it's an absolute non-negotiable for any business owner. And what I keep seeing happening is this is an age in which acquisition and the language to close the sale is now so commoditized, it can be learned and trained. Delivery can be as well. But I come from a world in the online space that really, when you think about a funnel's job is acquisition, but you are on the hook to deliver after you've been acquired. And so what we're finding is, if I said that, you have these people who are really loud online, if you are great at acquisition, but not good at onboarding and delivery, you cannot fulfill upon the thing that you promised. There's a promise you made when you sold. If you can't, what the perception is, and you may have seen this, especially during COVID. I saw this rise of this concept of the fake guru. And what is a fake guru? A fake guru, I would define them as someone who's great at acquisition, but not good at onboarding and delivery. And I don't think there's anything
Mm,
dangerous or bad that they are intending to do. I think they're excited about the sell. I need you to shift the energy from not being excited about the sell to be excited about the delivery systems to get them the outcome. Because at the end of the day, if I make you a promise, if you start with custom box agency, knowing that there's a physical product that is going to be at the end of the journey, if you get to the end of the journey and there's not a physical product, that's a problem. And
mhm.
like what I'm also seeing is this trend that the bar is so low that people, if they get 60 or 70% of what they think they're supposed to be getting, they're almost satisfied. And I'm trying to look at business owners to be like, no, this is unacceptable. And I'm looking at clients and customers who are going, but we had this one conversation that changed everything. And I'm like, no, what was the promise
Yeah.
that made you buy into the mastermind, the coaching program, hire that agency? Did they fulfill upon the promise? The answer is either a yes or a no. And
Mhm.
that is the thing that I want people to anchor on is not make, and this is the other thing I'll say. If I took it away from the entrepreneur, the business owner, and put it into the hands of the customer, what happens when you don't have good systems is if they start to feel overwhelmed, and chances are they're feeling overwhelmed because of your delivery systems, they blame themselves and they
Yes.
take responsibility for themselves. I must not be smart enough. I must
Yes.
not be good enough. I must not get it. And what are they going to do? They're going to refund or they're just going to disappear. And
Yeah.
some entrepreneurs are just building programs to make money, not get results. I'm here to get results. So that's
Yeah.
the thing is that like I want to remove that excuse to say, no, you're not the problem. there's a responsibility of both the business owner, especially at the onboarding and setting you up for the journey you're about to go on, as much of a responsibility to the client or the customer to take the actions. But it's our role as entrepreneurs to make it easier for them to take those actions.
So true. And I think Susan and I talk about this. She has a really great saying that basically it's like it's your moral obligation that if you're promising some kind of transformation, it's your moral obligation to deliver on that and to hold space for at least the best possible way for that to happen. Yeah. And I
Agreed.
think you hit the nail on the head. I think when we see people going to these programs, it's like maybe the 2%, which are the higher tiers that are like you, are that are going to do it anyway. But it's like that, just that next group of people that maybe have lower confidence or lower self-worth or lower a belief in their ability to do the thing. And it's like, how do you create the journey to be able to support that? You nailed it. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, so dive deeper into that then, because I think what's so cool about us is that we have similar values. We use similar words in terms of customer journey and having journey maps, but you go about it in a really unique, cool way. Will you share a little bit about how you do
Yeah.
that and
Oh
how
my
you
God.
break that?
I
Yeah.
dying to get the two of you. The three of us in a room with a whiteboard would be like, this is like, you're an entrepreneur when you're like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Oh my God, it's gonna be a blast. Three of us in a room with a whiteboard. Like,
I'm
but it would
in.
be a blast.
Yes.
Um, you're right, because it's clear that we have similar values. And it's like our own vernacular, maybe how we do it. But the thing that I would say for any business is like, if you are like, where do I begin?
Mhm.
Start with what is success and truly have a definition for success for your people. So, what I mean by that is, I'll use ClickFunnels as an example. The Two Comma Club Award is brilliant because they define success. What is success? You made $1 million using ClickFunnels, and I believe it's all done with one funnel or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And like that was it. Is that like they defined the success metric that everyone knew when they were successful when they hit it. If I was in Taekwondo and I'm a white belt and I wanted a black belt, I mean, the success metric can be easy. Do you have a black belt? Yes or no? Because if you do have a black belt, then you know that you've achieved all the milestones to be successful. I'm in a program right now when I'm coming out of my midlife crisis because the going from 30s to 40s like was a big wake up call for me. But the mentor I worked with has a program called Six Pack CEO. His success metric: do you have a six pack? Yes
Mhm.
or no? Very black and white. You go to college and university. Do you have a diploma? Yes or no? Having that success metric is the back-ended anchor because now we know without a shadow of a doubt. So many businesses don't define success. It needs to be a binary, a yes, no. It's
Mhm.
not something that could be free floating and whatnot, but it needs to be a very clear metric. And if you're like, well, I'm just trying to get people healthier, then have an exercise that you make them define what success is so they know yes or no, I've achieved that mark of success. We start with the end, then we go to the beginning. What's the onboarding process? Anytime you go to college, you go through orientation to learn how to navigate the 4 years of college. Anytime you play a board game, you have to learn the rules. Because if you don't learn the rules of how to play the board game, chaos will pursue. So
Mhm.
lots of other structures do a good job saying, let me prepare you for the journey when you play a video game. It teaches you how to navigate the controllers at the beginning so you know how to do it.
Mhm.
How well are you as a business owner doing that? So if I know what the outcome is and what success is, and I can define the onboarding process, then it's about defining the journey that takes me from onboarding to getting the outcome. And especially the more you get it refined, you know without a shadow of a doubt that when you stand in front of someone and present your product, I will show you that journey every day of the week. The journey maps are great sales tools to put out there because it
Yeah.
doesn't have the meat and the potatoes and the tactics to make it happen. But
Yeah.
I can speak confidently that I know that if you trust our process and how we've engineered the experience, if you start it, chances are, and you stay on track, you're going to get the result as to why you gave me your hard earned dollars. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the anchoring mechanism that we start with before we go deeper and deeper and deeper. But it's shocking to me how few businesses have defined what success looks like, which means if you don't define it, how does your customer know they've been
Exactly.
successful?
Yeah, so true. And we have found that when even the most acquisition-minded entrepreneur that we work with has the journey map, we have found and we have heard repeatedly that their confidence in selling their program goes up. And they were already
Mm.
doing phenomenal, but it's like this newfound sense of sales chops that come out about. Are you seeing that as well with the people that
Oh,
you work with?
it is. And here's why. When you have a journey map, if you like, let's just say it's broken down into 5 phases. We build journey maps all different shapes and sizes. We have journey maps that look like Candyland boards. We have journey maps that are very high level in terms of how they flow. But the goal of the journey map is to say, we have a planned journey, trust the process. And if you just trust the process, and the other thing is, if you are at start here or onboarding phase and you go to phase 1 or stage 1 or level 1, and then you go to stage 2, and I can see your progress and I know which phase in the process you're at, you can't tell me that the system is not working, because just by going from onboarding to phase 1 and then phase 1 to phase 2, every time you advance one step closer to the outcome, you've gone through a transformation, and it's undeniable. And so how we think about it is, all I need to show you is, this is why we break every journey down into phases or stages or levels or whatever nomenclature you want to give it, is that all I need to demonstrate is, if you go from phase 1, which again, I can talk to about how we think about the mechanics of a phase. You go from phase 1 to phase 2, it's undeniable that you have had some progress, because you're no longer at start here or onboarding. And so I want people to visually feel that. I can incentivize, if you get to phase 3, I may send you something in the mail to celebrate that mark. And so it may be phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and there's a box with a present in it, just to plant the seed in the journey of something unlocks here. If you've ever played Candy Crush, it's like level, 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 and then there's like a monster or something that looks a little bit different. Sometimes that just keeps me going to say, what's going to unlock when I get to this stage? Because you can engineer whatever experience you want, but that's where my mind goes, and that's kind of where the confidence exists too. Because if I know you're in stage 2 or stage 3 or level 3 or phase 3, then I know exactly where you are in the process. I know what you're trying to do, and I know how to better support you than if it's just this big open-ended mess and you log into a portal and it has 70 different things to consume. I hate overwhelm.
Well, yeah, the other thing that I find on that same note, just like the entrepreneur, the business owner of the program, when they have their journey map, kind of what Andrew was saying was, it gives them this confidence. I think it's giving them the confidence, exactly what you just said, of they know where their people are at. But have you ever had people where you've made the map for them and they're like, oh, I actually know what I'm selling now?
Oh my God, it's so funny. And like, the other thing is like how they infuse. Okay, I don't love the stack, the bonus stack. I'm not a fan of the stack. People love it, I get it, but like, it's like this $27 product all of a sudden is valued at $30 million, and you're just like, what? And then how they infuse it is just, they just dump more recordings and stuff. And I would rather you keep it like, this is when we go through a client's product, like, we can't just build an experience without going through the product. So we'll read the book, go through the course. Like, we go pretty deep, because I have to understand your business if we're going to turn it into a physical product. And there's been times that I'm like, did you know that you have over 30 hours of training that you're asking your customers to go through? Which is very different than if I broke it down and say, what's like essential and then what's supporting. And let's just separate these two so they can do the thing that they need to do, but not be like clouded out. Or like, again, if you're going to do a bonus element that's part of your stack, introduce, okay, this is where you could tap into this. This is where it comes into the equation. So at phase 3, oh, you have this bonus if you wanted to do it. It's a GPT we built for you. But it's not something that's being forced in the journey. It's a compliment if that's something that they want to go deeper. So that's just, it's little things like that that I'm like, when people start to like realize, okay, if I lean this out and just focus on what needs to be done, oh my gosh, I just reduced overwhelm. They can move through it faster. I can recommend other trainings if they want to go deeper. And just how they talk about it is, I mean, you showed the journey map on screen during the webinar or the live event.
Yeah.
Powerful.
It's a game changer. Yeah. We've had people that are like, I can sell this so much easier now because I have that one asset. It's like,
it's literally, I'm sure you've done this. Like, you hold up a mirror to your client saying, this is what you're asking your customers to do. Is this what, and they look back at you like, like, and then you can ask the question, would you do this? And that's the other good one, when they're like, and so why are you building something that you would never do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's just, just as experts, right? Deconstructing your knowledge into these bite size when you've spent a lifetime chunking it, I mean, that's really hard to deconstruct that and go back into the non-confident, easily overwhelmed brain of a novice relative to what you're trying to teach them. And it's, Oh my gosh, Mark, I feel like we could talk to you forever, but I want to honor time. So I want to get to this juicy question.
Okay, okay. Uh-oh.
So I want to ask you about your own personal journey, one that is very near and dear to my heart. So I have been watching you for the past year in your health journey.
Mm,
And you mentioned that the CEO six with the six pack or the CEO six pack. Yeah. And what I've loved so much about you in you sharing your journey is I feel like there's so many areas of our life, especially as entrepreneurs, where we are high achievers. We are not the norm. We feel confident, like anything can happen. We can make anything, like we can solve anything, right? But then we have these areas of our life where we are just like the people we serve, not confident, not feeling like we can do everything, even like struggling to have hope, but then we end up getting into situations where somehow, some way, somebody decided to hold space for that transformation in my beautifully non-hopeful, non-confident self. And I don't know if that is how your experience was with health, and I could be projecting my own stuff into there, but
yeah.
I am so curious about your own journey and what was the delivery system or the experience that helped you step into what clearly looks like you might have a six pack now, like at least what I'm seeing on social. Like you're doing it. Like the transformation has been amazing.
No, I appreciate it. So here's a couple things.
Okay.
Um, I there were so many bad stories that I believe were true inside my head.
Mhm.
And there was just moments in life that like I would have said, at 39, or now I'm 41 on the brink of 42. Um, there were just things that I believed and was just like, okay, so when I was born, my feet towed in pretty badly. I wore braces on my legs. And
Wow.
even playing sports growing up in Alabama, Alabama's known for football. Everyone wants to play sports, they want to be an athlete. I would trip over my feet.
Mhm.
And so I just accepted at a young age that one of the stories was I'm not an athlete, and that's okay. And it's you start going through life, and the thing I realized now is I would have told you that I hadn't experienced any trauma in my life, and I didn't really know what trauma was. And it wasn't until I was in a mastermind sharing what I was going through at the time that someone pointed out to me, like, that's trauma. Like, that's trauma that you're, it was a trauma specialist. And I looked at him like, this that I'm going through. And the reality is, we all go through trauma. Some people call it big trauma or little trauma, but you don't get through life without some degree of trauma. But it changed my relationship when I was able to diagnose, oh, that experience was actually traumatic when I didn't internalize it as it. So there's a
Yeah.
saying of like, how do you kill a demon? The way you kill a demon is you call it by its name, which means you have to recognize the thing you're battling. And then if you can call it out, then you can conquer it in a different way. And the thing that really set me back at 39 was I got up to 250 pounds during COVID. I've always probably been in the 220s, stocky. I don't know if people would have said I was overweight, but I was technically considered overweight. And got down to the 220s, which was the kind of the zone I was at before COVID. But I could just feel my body breaking down. And I read an article that said the average human in the US lives to 78. And at
Mhm.
the time, I was 39, which means I was literally at the midpoint of the average human expectancy of someone in the US. And that woke me up. It shook me because I'm like, how could half my life be done? Like, where am I going from? Like, what am I going to do? I had all these fears of, oh, I'm going to find out I'm pre diabetic or high blood pressure, all these things that I could have mitigated. And so there's a belief that an event needs to happen for you to take massive change. That was my event. And when I say an event, a loved one may die. You may have lost a friend. For some people, I see the outpour of James Vanderbeek or Catherine O'Hara. An event happens that wakes you up. You find out you were diagnosed with cancer. You are at risk of XYZ. Like, that was my event at the time that woke me up. And it spooked me and it scared me. And I think men in general are not good at asking for help. So
Mhm.
for me to be at the point of this was at the end of 2023 to say I need help, and I found some support and started talking with people and started with this program, and it was Mauro Stara's Six Pack CEO. And I didn't know. I was like, is this a douchey name? Is this like legit what it is? You don't. And it was brilliant because it taught me the lesson that first, I'm a believer that everyone needs a mentor or they need support because our role as entrepreneurs is to hold a bigger vision for our people than they hold for themselves because
Mm.
we're limited by what's between our ears.
Mhm.
And So to get the support and like be able to say, men do a terrible job asking for help.
Yeah.
Um, that was really where it started. And then learning how to be healthy, doing the blood work and just following the process. He, as a delivery system, brilliant. Started with blood work, saw where you're deficient, recommended supplements, but it wasn't his supplements like an isogenics or I'm trying to sell you into my own stuff. It was go buy them on Amazon. He got me a Fitbit and told me like it was like how he set the rules of like how to enjoy do this if you just follow the rules. And it was so easy. All the workouts, you can only work out 3 days a week. The
Mm,
workouts are about 35 to 45 minutes. So like, and you just follow the protocol. And he's like, you're a CEO. Your job is to be the CEO. My job is to like do the thinking around your health. That's why you
yeah.
have me. And imagine that same concept for all the things that we do. And so that's kind of where it started and evolved. But had I not asked for help and found the right support, I never held a belief that I could be six pack lean. It was just never something in the 40 years I've walked this earth. It was never a thing.
Yeah.
And he helped rewire my belief that it was possible. And so
Yeah.
that's where I just owe so much to him and his team and the systems that he's created. Um, but you see life when you literally drop 90 pounds ish.
Mhm.
Um, everything changes, your identity, how other people perceive you, how like, looking at myself right now, especially after a haircut, sometimes I don't recognize myself in the same regards, and so you have to embrace the new identity shift with it. So,
For
I don't know,
sure.
there's a lot here and there's a lot to unpack. I mean, especially being a man in the 40s, it's the prime category for suicides in America. I did not know
Mm.
that men in their 40s is the prime demographic, that 70 to 80% of suicides are men.
Hmm.
So you're
Never
at
knew
this middle age of life that, I get it now with the journey that I've been through because I've had friends commit suicide in their 40s that caught me off guard horribly. But a lot of it was just they didn't know how to navigate because they didn't have the delivery systems to help them come out of that experience. I'm fortunate that I was able to get the help that I needed, and could not be more excited about life. But I can understand that if, like at this age, men are waking up to who is it that I want to be out of this one life I've been given, and waking up to be like half a life has passed me based on this definition. I can see where they can get into a funk where they feel trapped. And the same thing is true for anyone at any stage of life. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where like incredibly grateful that I woke up, incredibly grateful that I asked for help.
Yeah.
And I look in the mirror and I'm like so much more self love and self respect that
Yeah.
I've ever had. Um, just by like finding the right support. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
One
that.
of the things that you said earlier on was that you had this identity that this belief, and I'm going to say identity, that you could not be an athlete, and clearly the mindset work that you did through the program that you were in. I don't know if you identify as like I could be an athlete, but definitely a shift happened, right, in
Oh
your
yeah.
identity to be able to reach that goal. Um, I'm just going to tie that back a little bit back to like delivery systems for a second. Um, I think a big misconception for a lot of business owners when they're putting together their programs is that like, oh, I'm not a mindset coach. Like, let me just give them the information and then they can go and do the thing. Like, I don't want to teach mindset. And you can't do that, right? And I think that's a huge part that they miss during that part during when specifically we say and during the onboarding is
Yeah.
you have to talk to people about identity. They have to make an identity shift. And so I just want to point out for the viewers that that was present in your journey through like I had this identity. I came into this program and I had mindset work. And whenever we hear mindset work, we really are talking about identity shifts.
Can I respond? Do we have
Yeah.
time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could not
Yes.
agree more. Mindset's the thing that every business owner needs, but thinks that they're unwilling to pay for. Like, it's the thing that I'm like, if you're like, you need a mindset coach, it's so easy to be like, no, I need something that's gonna drive more revenue. Well, here's the thing,
Mhm.
that mindset coach, you get the right one, it is the best investment that you can do. So any experience, we do need some type of mindset rewiring exercise or activities at the beginning, because you have to like shed that disbelief and turn it into a belief, like with whatever that it is possible and is possible for them. So it was my mentor. My first mentor I hired was hired as a business coach. He didn't give me business. He gave me mindset, but he knew if he sold me as a mindset coach, And it's simple little things. Like there was a point in the business in 2020 where I honestly, like one of our strategic partners, our fulfillment partner, this is before we brought fulfillment in house, called me up and was like, "Hey, we don't want to fulfill the type of boxes you put together anymore because some of our boxes could have 30 to 50 pieces in it." And we had brought him 25 clients, and and they were contracted with him. So I was like, who's gonna tell them that you no longer want to serve them as we're going into Q4? This is October, so Black Friday and Christmas are around the corner. So in my mind, I was like, this is it. Like, I don't have a fulfillment warehouse. I don't know what to do. We're going the busiest time of season. And my mentor, I looked at him and was like, this is it. Like, I don't know what to do. And he looked at me and all he said to me was, Mark, this is a 2 week problem. You could solve this problem in 2 weeks. And had he not said that and rewired my mindset around the situation, I could have easily said goodbye to this vision that I just didn't think it was possible. But because he said this is a 2 week problem, I solved it in 3 days. Decided that I needed to pull all inventory down to Austin, Texas, and we started to build out and never held a belief of my own. Like I thought fulfillment in-house would be years down the road. No, we did it in less than the first year of really going all in on custom box agency. And now it is a critical revenue driver in the business that now we have our own custom software and our own solutions that I look back and going, what a gift it was. But the biggest gift was the mentor looking at me, challenging me in a way that made me held a belief that I could solve this massive problem that I thought was truly a crippling problem.
Yeah.
And it changed the trajectory of our business.
Yeah. I love it. And all of these stories, they have this same pattern of it's somebody willing to actually really pay attention to the delivery, create space for a very uncomfortable situation, provide just enough structure, support, and like just enough choice to help propel people forward. And I love that because the patterns are clear and doing good delivery is not rocket science. Like there are clear patterns that help with success. And yeah, kind of circling all the way back to the beginning of the conversation of if
Yeah.
more people were talking about that and that was the bar, I think just the world would be a better place in general,
Ah,
but businesses would
mm,
thrive. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And thank you too for sharing your personal journey.
yeah.
I had to acknowledge it just because I definitely have been watching you and I'm like, wow, that's some deep work. Something's happened
Oh
over
my
there
God.
that's so beyond a surface level transformation.
Trust
Yeah.
me, every yin has a yang. So the beauty of this, there's always a balance of it. And the lessons learned through the last 2 years, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
I feel like I've dealt with some massive hurdles, and uh, but like I sometimes I feel like these challenges you get as an entrepreneur is just the universe challenging you of you have a big vision. Are you worthy of it? Here's an
Mhm,
obstacle. Either you're going to persevere or you're going to give up. And if you're going
mhm,
to give up, you're not worthy of this big dream you had. And that's where I feel like I've been like, why did this happen? And the question is always not why did it happen to me? It's why did it happen for me? And
mhm.
so there's like the rewiring of the belief around that thing. And I can't take credit for that. That's been many mentors looking at me saying, why do you think this happened for you? And I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah,
whole different perspective on
such a
the
good shift.
situation.
Yeah,
And then it's
yeah,
almost like, okay, I get why you just threw this curveball to me in my business. And then there's always a reward on the other end when you're
yeah.
realizing like I'm going to persevere and there's something beautiful on the other side. So
Mm,
it's been
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, well said. Oh my gosh. Okay, Mark, we're gonna honor time, but we are
Yeah.
not done. Like we absolutely have to continue the conversation. We're looking forward to just bringing you into our world more,
Yes.
having deeper conversations, and just thank you for being somebody who does just take delivery to that next level, and just what you're producing and bringing into the world is just so needed. So just so grateful for you.
Right back at the two of you. And that's why I was like, seeing Susan right on this call, I was like, oh my God, Susan's been waiting too long. And you too, Andreas. We have to do this more often.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much, Mark. So appreciate you. Yeah, go ahead, Susan.
Just if people want to connect with you, where's the best
Yeah,
place for
thank
them to
you.
go?
Oh yeah. A couple, so customboxagency.com. Do a free consultation. We love learning. Like we will never push you to do anything you should or should not do. We're really good at also sending people in the right direction. So reach out, especially if you're thinking about bringing a physical product to life. And again, we anchor everything on strategy and intentionality. And then find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Hit me up. Let me know what you're doing. We have a couple of projects coming down the pipeline that we're always looking for people to come test out. So if you want to get more deeper into our world, hit me up.
Cool. All right. Thanks,
Amazing.
Mark, for being with us today.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
thanks,
Amazing. Thank
Mark.
y'all. Always a pleasure.